I have a family that has like perpetual skin cancer. Where they just kind of like it just comes back and then they cut a bunch of his body off again and it just grows back again like he's a lizard. It's a really weird, like, of all the places to have cancer, it's just a strange concept because your skin keeps getting cancer again and they just cut that part off again because it's skin. And then it's like being a burn victim over and over again or something. It's weird.
And eventually you die of a car accident.
Yeah.
Like, it often happens in pretty older people, so like at some point they will be gone one way or another, but I just imagine like if you were stuck with that condition for like 300 years, you would just be an actual like Silent Hill monster.
Yeah, probably.
So you've just been like, your skin has regrown patch by patch so many times that you're just like a weird modeled monster that has like barbed wire all over their body and they're coming out of the toilet.
I mean, that was the theory behind more or less Deadpool and why Deadpool looks super hideous. It's not that he was burnt or anything, it's just that cancer messes your skin up and you look great. I have all of my speed mods.
Did original Deadpool not have a horrible fire that destroyed his body?
No.
Do you know what?
It's just all cancer.
Oh right.
Like, it wasn't even the fire in the movie that gave him.
Oh right, I forgot. He gets mutated by the horrible torture method.
Well, no, it's not even the horrible torture method. That's just his cancer going really fast.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not really explained directly what it means. I assume that either the torture method just ruins his body, or that maybe his mutation itself just was like that.
Yeah, the theory behind it was they had this method that could enhance whatever was going on in his genes, and he had cancer, so it enhanced that.
He got super cancer, and that's why he's immortal?
Exactly. He's super cancerous.
Yeah. So isn't cancer kind of immortal? Isn't that how cancer works? Is like isn't cancer basically like human cells that refuse to die, and that's why they fuck up the whole body?
Well, yeah, and they keep replicating over and over and over.
Right.
Again.
So that's why he has like his super cancer gives him healing factor.
Well, in the comics, he has cancer, and they're like, "All right, well, we've got this program, and we're just gonna shoot you." Are we all here? No, we're missing.
I'm just freaking out because an element of the movie suddenly makes like 500% more sense to me in the weird logic of superhero movies. Where previously
I had super cancer.
Previously, I was just like, I guess he just looks weird now.
No,
I didn't really piece together that element.
In the comics, they more or less just take Wolverine's DNA and stick it inside Deadpool instead, which is kind of weirder, and provides some kind of interesting like
HIV metaphor,
relationship issues. Well, also that, yeah.
Did this plotline happen during the AIDS scare?
Excellent work, Tenno.
Yes.
Oh
actually.
Wow. Is that on purpose?
This is back in the
was this commentary? You never know. You never know with these comic books.
Well, I'm gonna say this right now. This was made by the guy that's famous for boobs and butts and tiny feet, all in the same picture. When they're absolutely should not be.
Oh no,
yeah, it was that guy,
Mr. Shovelcrotch.
Yeah.
Where everyone's crotch looks like a trowel.
Yes,
like a weird
and
V.
also like their chests are like weirdly.
Oh right, yeah, like the worst artist ever. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We would drunkenly go through his portfolio of comics, making fun of it.
I've been looking at superhero comics a little bit lately. Because I've had a bit of a bias against a lot of manga artists stuff.
Rob Liefeld, that's the one.
I'm realizing I also don't like most superhero artists.
It really depends. I think the kind of modern generation has got a pretty good handle on the style, even if it's like super cartoony.
Yeah, just some of the styles are really exaggerated in ways that bother me.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I really like the modern styles. I liked the Golden Age styles, or was it? No, it was the Silver Age. My bad. That was like the really famous when X-Men really got big, and like the original X-Men cartoon show was in the Silver Age style, which I always thought was pretty nice.
I unfortunately don't know any of the artists' names at all, really, but one of them. Oh god damn it! Fuck it.
That's kind of the sad part about the comic book industry.
There's
you get a lot of
Grineer should have known better than to walk
well, you get a
into
lot of guys that made the comic book characters back in the
Let's clean
day,
up their mess.
but like they didn't do it well. But because they did it first and they got famous, they now have like a bunch of artists that are way better than them, and a bunch of writers that are way better than them, more or less doing bitch work for them while they reap in the profits.
Because they got the names and it's recognition.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be totally honest here. Stan Lee, not actually that great of a writer or a character designer.
It's like
or
being
anything.
a session musician for Guns N' Roses. It's like you have to work with Axl Rose because he scared off the rest of his band doing Chinese democracy stuff. But you were like actually like a talented musician, but you're doing this for because you need to make a living. And so you're like you're sad people like Buckethead working for Guns N' Roses to make an album no one cares about.
Yep.
That's true. Buckethead worked on Guns N' Roses.
I mean, I'd actually argue that's probably true of a lot of industries too. I'm thinking about the games industry right now, and it's like, yeah, there's a lot of shitty designers that are on top right now.
Or the in-betweeners of the anime world.
Yeah.
All these people that have to draw the frames, they're just drawing the halfway points between iframes all day. I mean keyframes. Iframes are Dark Souls.
This mistake, this slip, does not surprise me in the slightest.
Ever since Dark Souls, are you finding that you get mad at video games that don't have iframes in their roll?
Sort of. I at the very least want some kind of like damage reduction or something on the roll, but yeah.
When a game has a dodge roll, I reflexively try to use it to avoid damage, so then every time it doesn't do that, I just get mad. I just get really frustrated with the game.
You know,
It just feels natural now.
I'm okay with taking damage on the dodge roll to some degree. I'm less okay with being like knocked around during a dodge roll. Like if I dodge through like somebody's leg as they're doing a sweeping kick, I'm more pissed off that I get like walloped into next Tuesday and like am now stuck on my back than I'm pissed off about being like damaged.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, -1 bounce for the crazy Dark Sector glaive.
It was a good example. There's a sort of sandbox RPG thing called Goliath a little while back, and there are these like pig things that knock you on your ass, and I had a dodge roll, and I'm like, all right, sweet, I'm just gonna kind of like, you know, I'm just going to Titan Souls dodge roll through this thing or whatever, and then I dodge roll through like what is very obviously like an enemy attack, very telegraphed, and my character just gets walloped by it even harder, and it's just like, no, this is bullshit. Like I can deal with the damage, but like now I'm on my ass, so he can hit me again, and I get back up and he hits me again, and I'm just this.
Yeah, I've been playing Anima, and an enemy will send like a sword slash shockwave at you, and you'll dodge perfectly perpendicular to the direction, which is the maximum like direction to try to avoid the attack, and you'll still get hit by it. I'm like, this is infuriating. Why is there a dodge if the games aren't, all the attacks in the game aren't like designed around the dodge working? Because the alternative is just to get hit in the face.
It makes sense to like get mobility, but I still like the dodge roll from the perspective of like, yeah, you timed this off well, you shouldn't take damage.
Yeah. If there's no way to make the dodge roll avoid damage, then you're forced to resort to like trying to maybe sprint in certain directions or something. Like it gets weird and clunky at that point in most games. So do you guys just sprint through rooms and everything dies without having to stop or something?
Pretty much.
So I'm noticing that I'm just running full force through the level mostly and still not seeing anything, and then the level ends. I'm like, how are you? I normally have to like stop to kill something. Like, how is this happening?
Well, we have fire and ice, so.
Oh Jesus.
Ember and frost, killing everything.
Yeah. So Keith, I kind of used this character before and explained what she did, but I'm playing as Ember, and so is Shadow, and so we just have this like wide range AOE that costs like it's a sustained move, but effectively anything within the AOE just starts taking damage over time until it dies, or I turn off the effect. And we've more or less maxed out at our efficiency, so we can just keep going with it forever. It's really useful for clearing out these like basic levels, but unfortunately it does kind of reduce the amount of gameplay that you end up doing. Which is why I don't generally do this, but I'm doing this now because we don't have the keys. And also, this is going to take for freaking ever otherwise.
I'm never gonna finish my Volt, it's impossible.
I mean, this is possible.
We're gonna be doing this for the rest of 2017. It's just gonna keep. It's gonna be like making a character in Stranger of Sword City.
Five.
If something is truly random, it can never happen.
I actually had one of my characters die, and I didn't reload today because lazy.
So you had to make a new character, and you had to re-experience that hell.
I know, and I was just like, "This is why I load." But at the same time, I just got like 4 rare items for this character's sacrifice. I'll take it.
It might be the worst feature in any game I've played in the last 4 years. Like, period.
Permadeath on a JRPG with random one-shot kills?
It's the dumbest thing ever. No, like permadeath, fine, sure. RPG, everything about that, fine. That's just what the game is. The dice roll on your character creation is the worst idea ever.
Yeah.
Like, just balance your game. If you want us to have 7 points to spend on our characters, give us 7 points, or whatever number you land on based on modifications of whatever
don't taunt us with that bullshit like potential for a 10.
Like, for those that don't know,
just give us 5.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there's a game called Stranger of Sword City. It's a game where you make a 6-character party, and you have to customize them all from scratch, like down to class and race and everything. And much like Dungeons and Dragons, you do dice rolls to determine how many stat points you get. But it has the most hilariously unrealistic dice rolls in the history of dice, basically, where it'll be like, all right, your minimum stat point is 10, but you could roll higher. So you just sit there and hit A, and it'll be like 10, 10, 10 for like 50 times in a row. Then it'll be like 11, 10, 10, 10, 10, 12, 10, 10. It'll just keep going forever. And your goal is to hopefully get a slightly higher number, like say 16, or like it'd be mind-blowing to get like 4 to 6 levels higher, because you get 1 stat point per level up in that game. So getting a few more points in that dice roll thing is like getting several levels higher of a character as far as stats go. But they make it the most agonizing experience ever.
Stalker? I think it's for me. Oh. Yep, Stalker for me.
Cool.
What's a Stalker in this case?
It's a mini boss. Comes randomly.
Oh.
Because I killed bosses.
Oh, it's stalking you.
Yeah, he's angry because I killed Lephantis, apparently.
Like that, I think it's isn't it like Diablo that has a game where an enemy will just show up and come after you in your game sometimes?
Maybe?
I want to say...
Oh, Diablo 3, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say Diablo 3 had that mechanic.
Oh, there it is.
Die.
All right. I got my claws.
Oh, is he growing or is he getting closer? No, he's getting closer to me.
He's also just hella slow, which is funny.
Damn you, perspective.
Ow.
I'm helping.
There we go. What did we get? Libido?
I got
rub it up and...
Is he dead yet?
That wasn't worth it.
So
does he drop?
Did he glitch out for you guys?
He like takes forever to die.
Well, on my screen he laid down dead, and then he slowly stood up as if he was dying in reverse, and stood there, standing there for a second, and then popped out of existence.
So a lot of the enemies have their like bosses specifically have their like animations broken by slow effects. If you can hit them with a really heavy slow effect.
Oh, weird. Like
so in this
the Fallen.
case, that like bubble more or less made him like not realize he was dead yet and like be super confused.
I've told you about how Lords of the Fallen gets broken by slow, right?
No, you didn't.
So the game has a poison you can inflict on enemies that'll slow them by a percentage, and
right.
it stacks multiplicatively, and it works on the final boss. So you can just slow him down, do an iceberg crawl, and murder him. And you can kill him so fast when he's vulnerable that you can just skip all the phases of the fight and just have.
They're making a sequel for that, aren't they?
I have not heard about it, but I wouldn't be too surprised. That company doesn't have much going on.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up while we load.
It's possible.
Lords of the Fallen 2. Loses producer, changes direction to reach.
Like on the topic of the dice rolls in Stranger, I don't know if you've had it yet, but like my problem is that like I'll start hitting the button over and over again, and I'll eventually kind of zone out, and I'll just have that horrible cringe moment of realizing I had an astronomically rare number pop up, and I accidentally hit A again, and it's just lost forever.
Yeah.
And eventually you just settle for a shitty mid-tier number because you're just tired of hating your life.
I actually have never seen a number higher than, like, what, 12?
The highest number I've seen is +6 from whatever I started at.
Yeah, I've never seen that, and I also don't give enough of a shit about the game. I actually put it on easy so I could get through it faster because I've lost interest in how the game works. And let me tell you what easy does. It lowers every enemy level by 2. That's all it does.
I honestly enjoy most elements of the game. I just wish it was better visually shown to you, and I wish that the dice roll mechanic didn't exist in any capacity. I wish it was just like, you get this many points to spend on your character at the end.
You probably... Have you gotten to the Shadow Cathedral or Labyrinth or whatever? Have you gotten to that part
I went
yet?
straight to Thief Land.
I haven't gotten there yet. I went to the forest first, which was like super easy to deal with.
I pissed off my audience because they were hyping up how tough the sniper was, and I took it out in one attempt. Like, haha. You think I'm a noob?
I went with the forest first.
Shadow just slapped my meal out of my hands. Just walked into a room full of enemies and then they disintegrated right before I used my magic.
Yep. Happens. But so I went to the forest first, which was pretty easy to find all the bosses. The shadow one, the only boss I found so far, one of the NPCs comes in and kills as a scripted event. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, you can kill him later if you want to, he comes back anyway. Unlike all of the other ones, which just means like, alright, so you can grind this boss if you really want to, but you've already got the blood crystals.
Oh, there's multiple bosses that come back, I've heard.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But it's just kind of this like dumb like sort of tutorial, like we're gonna take all the power out of your hands thing. And then the next boss I found, you're warned specifically like you probably don't want to fight him because he's hard. And guess what? He's level 28 and killed my entire party in like 3 shots. And so it's just like, well, and now I can't find the other bosses because they only show up rarely on a ambush. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm just going to be here for a while.
Yeah, it does seem there's just genuine like boss farming involved, like trying to trigger them when they're not at set locations.
Yeah, I don't like that. And I've got Grand Kingdom coming out in as soon as 3 days or as long as a week. Tokyo Mirage and Star Ocean. And I desperately want to either finish Stranger of Sword City or just move on. Because I've got many other games that are doing way better than it. And many other games upcoming that I'm way more interested in playing.
This is an urgent mission. A Corpus scout ship with
There's going to be a second Neo demo, Wander.
I'll probably play it.
You get a second
Maybe
chance.
It'll be better.
We need to know everything they do.
Trying to think. Hopefully they like actually have improved it or something using feedback. Because I enjoyed it, but just losing all that footage was like totally a nail in the coffin for me.
It's Neo's still in a massive question mark territory for me. Where like there's so many issues I currently have, but it's so hard to figure out if any of the issues I have are like learning curve or not.
Yeah, there were a lot of questionable design choices in my opinion.
But like once upon a time, Demon Souls was declined from publishing for being too low quality of a game.
This tower is full of life forms.
It's like that's the origin of this entire genre is games that were thought of being so shitty they shouldn't even be published. So it's like it's hard to figure out how first impressions work with some of the stuff because of how that started. Like, do you know about that? Like, it was going to be a Sony published game, but then Atlas had to pick it up because Sony declined them for publishing because the game was too low quality.
I actually didn't realize that Atlas published Demon Souls.
Yeah, that was that's how this all started with the Souls games. Is that like it's like now there's like a weird like Sony exclusive subcategory of them and everything, but like originally this whole thing was seen as a massive mistake and it became a big craze instead. It's like when you hear that George Lucas thought that Star Wars was gonna fail.
Yeah, I think actually of all of the people on the Star Wars cast and whatever, it was the Obi-Wan guy who thought it was going to do well, and he was the one that actually asked for a percentage instead of like a flat fee, and boy did he make money. But apparently he also hated the movie and thought it was complete tripe.
The horrible irony. It's okay, he's dead now.
Yeah, he was a Shakespearean actor, and he thought it was trash.
Oh.
Because it was, you know...
That's how Patrick Stewart was before he learned what fun was.
Yeah.
During the early years of Star Trek, he was just this horrible stick in the mud the whole time that had no fun with the rest of the cast and thought that everything was lower, that the whole thing was lower art. Yeah,
well, he actually... He picked it up as like filler or whatever because he thought it was going to do terribly.
Yeah.
And you know, he thought it was going to fail after a season or two.
It's like making Next Generation basically changed him as a person.
Yes.
Speed boost. So you
yeah,
guys
let's
all
speed this up a notch.
You guys all have speed modifiers on your characters, right? That's why. Is that part of why I can't keep up?
I don't know if my Ember currently does. I think I like butchered her for some reason. But yes. Yeah, there's... I think I gave you Rush. God damn it. Okay, whoever thought it was a good idea to put Forma on these...
Oh, right, the blueprint. Well, part of the thing for me, Wandered, I just don't have room for everything, because I don't have double capacity.
Yeah, no, so, like, it's totally understandable.
Rush is such a low priority thing. It only really applies to the specific situation of having a party of people that run so fast that you're getting left behind.
Yep.
Which is specifically a situation where stats don't matter because no one needs to actually try very hard. Which is the opposite. That's an opposite of the min-max situation.
We're just here hoping for a semi-rare stupid drop.
Only.
I'm genuinely wondering if I should upload any of this or not.
I'm gonna put it up. We're having interesting enough conversations. And honestly, what's the difference between this gameplay and like 90% of the other gameplay that we ever do?
That's totally the thing with Warframe. Warframe and Stranger of Sword City both contradict my entire thought process for editing videos. Because they're two games where the entire gameplay experience is the part I cut out of other games. Like the grinding and stuff like that. Like, there is not a not grinding part in both of these games. Like, that is the entire body is some variation of that. Whereas if I was gonna play Dark Souls and like kill a room of mobs 5 times to afford my weapon upgrade or something, I would not show any of that. It's like it's such a weird change. It's like how I once told myself I would never play puzzle games because watching somebody else solve a puzzle you already know the solution to is the most cringeworthy, horrible experience ever. But now that's some of the most successful stuff I do is puzzle games.
Yep.
Nothing I think about how YouTube works is ever true.
It's nonsense, yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, the more you learn, the more you know all the things you don't know, and the more, like, the more that somebody is a professional at something or established at something, the more they say they have no idea what they're doing.
It's true.
Because experience does the opposite of making you feel confident.
There are totally set guidelines when you're small, though. Like, AAA is generally an absolute mistake when you're small, because good luck trying to get search results on that. Whereas, like, indie games, it's kind of this, like, Wild West, where there's somebody who's gonna, like, take all the search results, or none of them, so you can kind of eke your way. And then, like, after you get to the point where you kind of have your, like, own thing and less competition, suddenly it just kind of opens up of just, like, turns out this entire place is just chaos.
Yeah.
Filled with flighty people and with limited standards.
It turns out some of this is just math.
Yeah.
How do you feel about statistics, class?
I actually have not looked at my statistics in a while. I
meant like as in probability.
Oh, yeah, that too.
As in, like, this is all a mixture of algorithms and dice rolls.
Yeah. I hate this section we just came through. The, like, lower section with the upper section that you have to jump through.
Oh yeah,
it always feels way too tight for me.
It feels like it always reminds me of like the part of Clone Wars where Padme has to dodge the weird machines that are gonna crush her. It's like this weird isolated hallway that doesn't fit with anything else in the level.
Yeah, because these levels are always so like big and open for the most part, except for like a couple of tunnels. And then it's just like, by the way, here's a room that's annoying and impossible to navigate, and also there's a ton of enemies in here, so you have to get all of them. I'm gonna get another Orthos Prime tonight. Fabulous.
Fatal Attraction. Sounds like a book that'd be on my mom's bookshelf. Oh boy, that torso.
I feel like someday I should just buy, like, get a Harlequin romance novel or something and start reading it at someone. Like, just flip open to a chapter and start reading it at Bird. I guess we did that with that, like, one night where we were reading really bad fanfiction.
Oh yeah.
Problem is, like, we couldn't find any good bad fanfiction.
We found one good bad fanfiction and couldn't follow up on it.
Yeah.
So then we resorted to Jar Jar Binks voices.
that was a bad night.
That was a weird night. That never hit YouTube because that series never happened.
I don't even remember what series we were trying to film.
That was before you guys kicked me out of Dark Souls.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah.
Remember our 3-player Dark Souls 2 series?
To be fair, trying to get through Dark Souls 2 would have been a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
it got better.
It's just that there was literally no, like, hey, we're gonna go on without you. It was just suddenly, hey, we're halfway through the game. We didn't invite you.
It was one of those where I think you were gone for, like, Christmas or something already, and so it was just like, what do we do? I don't know, do you want to try and just get Dark Souls? And remember, I had like, what, 5, 6 failed Dark Souls series by that point? And I just was, like, sick of trying to do it with 3 people, because it was not working. Did you finish editing all of the Dark Souls 3?
Nope.
Because I haven't checked in a little while.
That is a process. A time-consuming, horrifying process that's going to consume hundreds of hours of my life.
It's okay. It does only okay on my channel. It does about as well as any other multiplayer thing I do, so I'm just kind of like, whatever, it'll come when it comes.
Yeah, and you never finished uploading the rest anyway.
No, I'm missing a couple. I put them up, but like, when you're putting up 9 videos a day, it's like,
yeah. Well, there's the thing where when you're editing a 25-minute video of multiple perspective stuff and everything, and processed audio, it tends to take like 2 hours.
Yeah, can't blame you. That's why I'm not pushing.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter.
One of the big surprises is actually how long... One of the big surprises is how long the individual videos are before I edit them. It's like, oh, it's a 25-minute video. Yeah, that was 90 minutes.
I've never seen this happen before.
In real time, that was an hour and a half.
Have you seen that before?
Are you vibrating or something?
No, I've never seen this before. But actually,
there's supposed to be a floor here?
It's a trap. It opens up below you and it drops you in with lasers, but I already shot out the lasers.
Oh.
It happens because apparently there's a pressure plate underneath all the loot things in the center of the room, and I had no idea.
It's like a futuristic Nom spike trap.
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you rub poop on the laser beam to get people infections that way?
But
what?
Actually,
you don't know about that?
Effie and I were doing an exterminate mission not too long ago, and we couldn't find out where to go. And turns out that we were standing around a door that we had never seen before.
Oh, Stalker.
So we were just sitting there for 12 minutes, not knowing what in the world we were supposed to do.
Wait, Wander, do you not know about Vietnam spike traps?
I didn't know about rubbing poop on them to give people.
Oh yeah, they wanted to give them like
sicknesses.
horrible infections.
Ooh.
Some of the worst parts of human warfare is finding ways to ruin people physically so that instead of killing them, they become a huge drain on the resources of your opponent.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a crappy idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a horrible pun.
World War I and 2 were largely easy to deal with because everybody just died. Vietnam was bad because we either were like burning each other or we had enough like medical supplies to keep people alive, but not enough to, fix them fully. So you just end up with a bunch of people with
that's the convenient part about Star Trek Wars is everyone gets vaporized.
Yeah.
There's no cleanup. No one will ever know about the horrible brain worms. I've lost all of my chat partners to brain worms, apparently. They're having a moment of
So
silence for their fallen brethren.
This tower is full of life forms.
So
I had a brother
this,
who was a brainworm.
That's what the whole Futurama like brain slug plotline was about. Was like making fun of the one like most weirdly creepy story arc of Next Generation, where there were these weird parasites that would take over people's brain, and they had infiltrated like leading positions of Star Command or whatever, or the Federation.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, in Futurama, they were also a good snack.
It was creepy as all hell. And I think, if I remember correctly, all the evidence of it was destroyed because they had to fight them with, like, kill phasers, which meant that, like, they just got disintegrated. So there was, like, no evidence that any of it ever happened, I think. Haven't watched it for a while, though. It's always fun when, like, sci-fi stuff just suddenly decides, we're horror now. It's gonna get weird.
Did you read, oh, what was it?
Probably not.
Animorphs.
Oh, yes, actually. How'd you find one of the things I read?
I don't know. You were maybe a kid. I still have some doubts.
Yeah, I know about Animorphs and how that got weirdly dark.
I mean, that entire series was weirdly dark. Like,
yeah, but there
one
was
guy
specifically a time
on the
travel
first-
book where they decided it was okay to kill off almost every member of the cast in like in really horrible, gory ways because they were going to come back at the end of the story anyway.
I mean, that was them just totally testing the waters to see if they could, actually do that for realsies.
Just do a horrible thing for kids. Yeah, like, for those that don't know, Jake, the main character of Animorphs, crosses the Delaware with George Washington and gets a hole blown clean through his head by a musket ball in a children's book. Yep. Like, it's from another character's perspective, and they can actually see through the hole in his head. This is an Animorphs book. It got adapted into a Nickelodeon television show.
Though it did not make it that far.
No, it only made it like one season. Jake was played by the guy that went on to play Iceman in X-Men, which is really distracting to me as a 10-year-old.
Remember that.
he still plays Iceman today.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's my last key, so...
Shadow,
well,
do you
at
have
least
any?
I have a whole set of Saren Prime.
Okay.
Cool.
What are we trying to get here, by the way?
Volt Prime Systems?
Oh.
Yeah, because Keith wants, Keith wants to upgrade his frame, but I'm like, nah, Volt Prime's pretty easy to get.
Eating those words hard, like Jake ate that musket ball.
We need to know everything they do.
Full circle, and not the good kind.
No. The kind that ends in childhood fatality.
This is actually the last key I have for so
yeah, chassis, helmet. Yeah, system's the only one left.